Yay, I did it. So here's what I've done. I found out how to have the chat on my streaming on my channel. I didn't know, but if the video is like made for kids, you're not allowed to have chats. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You do what you got to do, and you got to protect the kids. So hi, I'm Rochelle. I did another video earlier and didn't have the chat option on, so it took me a while to figure this out. It's really my first live on YouTube, and I'm so happy to be here. As I was saying, I have a blog and on my own website, Feeding a Crowd. It's feeding-a-crowd.com, because Feeding Crowd was taken, one, by Jamie Oliver and other people, but I still feed a crowd, so I wanted to make it work. So it's feeding-a-crowd.com. So here we go. I've loved cooking forever, and I feel like I've done all this in the last 10 minutes of streaming I did, and now I'm doing it again. So I'm going over the same thing I've done. This is like when you try something and you run out of battery and you don't know, when you do all this for nothing, right? But it's not for nothing. It's a good practice. I'm part of a large family with a lot of boys, and I did a lot of cooking, being the eldest girl, feeding them. And then I had a small pack of my own, and feeding was, you got to feed them 3 times a day, right? And so at some point I was just cooking to survive and feed the kids. And I always loved it. And I was always curious. I always had tons of recipe books in the mornings and at night. I would just pour over the recipe books like encyclopedias and read them for fun, because I was learning, be very curious. And then at some point, as I said in the other video, which I don't think I'll put on, one of my sons was allergic to all preservatives, colors, additives. And so I had to cook everything from scratch for a while until we found a different solution. And, he's fine today. But, and it was a lot. I had a big family. I had a lot to do. And then I was having to cook everything from scratch. And so I did. Like, oh my God. And it empowered me. Instead of like discouraging me, I started researching. And then we didn't have that much internet. You went to the books, and you went and you read more books, and then you got more books, and you read more books. There was a bit of internet, but not very much. Like, no, I didn't use the internet for this information. And so I used to make the bread, the sauces, every sauce. And it was great. It gave me a passion for cooking. And at the time, we started watching all the fun shows. I'm not sure they're as much fun today, but we used to listen to Chopped, Master Chef. And my life was a series of Chopped every night. You come back from stuff. There was always emergencies in a large family. And you look in the fridge and you look in the pantry and you're like, oh my God, I have canned this, I have that, I have dried that. Oh, I have that left in the fridge. And so every night, well, many nights, it was a Chopped night in my house. And the kids always said, Mom, your best meals are when you don't know what you're making for supper. Oot. So I know I'm not supposed to say so many ums. One of my friends can say, you're doing too many ums. I'll find a way to stop. Don't worry. So we watch TV shows, and the kid just thought I should go on Chopped. Well, I went on MasterChef. That was fun. Actually, MasterChef saw my blog, because I started blogging about food around 2016 due to the fact that everyone were always asking me for recipes. And I had them printed on paper, and I would write them on my computer, print them out, and give it to them. We didn't, share on text then. And so I had so many recipes on my computer. I thought, I'm just going to put them online. So much easier. We're texting now. I give them, they can print them. I'll give them the link and they can print them. So their website started out almost as just a way to have the place to put my recipes and have them forever. Even though I didn't use recipes much, I had them in my brain and I put them down on paper. Putting them on paper forces you to work a lot harder than just, inventing recipes. So, and there's a lot of traditional recipes that I make from my grandmother or my mother or my aunts, and those recipes are great. And those are on paper in old books. You'll see I always have a picture of the old recipes with all the stains. on my blog. And so I started working on the blog, and then I realized that as I wanted to monetize my blog, right? And the way to do it was not something I wanted to do. I was very discouraged. I thought, okay, so on one side, we'll talk about Creuset and all the stuff I love, right? But no, that's not how it works. Actually, how it works is not fun at all. And then you get all kinds of weird advertisements, and you're like, ooh, not sure I want to do that. So I let that go and just continued working on my website, hoping to gain a momentum of sorts. And that's how MasterChef found me. Ended up going, I was asked twice. I went once. It was amazing. The people, the crew that work for MasterChef Canada is amazing. But you do have to be away a long, long time from your family. And you do get 1 hour a week to speak to one of them supervised. Not enough time. No, I cannot be away 11 weeks for my family. Oh, no. It's either my brain just went tilt. But what an experience. I thought I was going to be stressed. I was one of the older people. There was a lot of young people, and I wasn't stressed because it was so much fun. I was so happy. My kids were so excited that I was there. To me, it was like one of the best days of being somewhere where I was pure excitement. And I think I turned my stress into excitement, because I do that when I'm stressed. I turn to excitement instead of stress, and it makes everything better. So I had a beautiful day, and the whole experience is in fact on my blog. So I'm sure I have other stories that I didn't put in there, but maybe you can ask about them. I'm starting to stream now because I'm in a place where I am revamping all my recipes. I'm also putting them all in French. It's very time consuming. That's why, even though I don't have ads, I don't have pop-ups on my website, you can just go to the recipe and print the recipe. Now, mind you, the old print button has ads, and I don't like it. So I'm changing everything, but it's hours of work. So I do ask for support, monetary support on the page, but it's not going to bother you. You can still just print the recipe, look at the recipe, read my stories. I always have stories. Some I don't write stories, but I'm sure there's a story behind it, because there's always a story. Life is a series of stories and adventures, for sure, and happy happenstances. So yeah, so the MasterChef was a great, great part of my life. So as I got more recipes there, then I needed to separate them and put them in categories, because I had them. And so I started doing that. But just like the website it's a work in progress. You're always changing, you're always innovating. Now, when I started this in 2016, we didn't work with SEO and meta optimization. Now we do. So it's, and I'm working hard, and I'm learning everything, and I'm studying everything on top of making the recipes, of doing the research, of talking to people, of doing my own products, of, you got to do the shopping, the checking, the cooking. Sometimes the recipes don't work out. Sometimes they do. Sometimes you make something great and you didn't document it. So you just have an end picture and you say, oh my God, this was like, I need to blog about this. And you realize you're just having an awesome meal that, probably won't get blogged about unless you do it in 2 weeks and redo it over again. Chop moment turned into a recipe, right? So I think that I want to impassion people about food, about feeding your family, about feeding yourself. I mean, I make supper for myself 3-4 times a week, now that the kids have flown the coop, and, and then had kids. So the crowd is not smaller. The crowd is a lot bigger. And I love those kids. I love those grandkids. So now that I have my own website and blog, and I can actually have a chat, I hope that you guys understand that we can talk. We're just here to talk about food, about what to do with leftover rice, what to do with leftover polenta, what to do with whatever the food you have. For instance, this morning, which I posted on Instagram, I made brioche. I made a cinnamon buns this week with sourdough, right? Sourdough discard. Yeah. And they came out amazing. And I gave them all away. I had a few left. And they're slowly going stale, but I don't eat sweets that much. I usually tend to give away the food to the kids, the grandkids, aunts, uncles, whatever. And I was looking at them this morning as I was starting on my lunch, well, brunch, and I'm like, that's it. I'm making French toast with them. It made for amazing French toast. Serious, like French toast galore. Because of the texture, that's what got me thinking I want to make French toast. Sourdough is already the perfect texture for French toast because it holds itself. So if you make a French toast with it, it's a beautiful texture. It's not soggy. And the cinnamon bun is already delicious. And now you turn into a French toast. It's decadent. It's delicious. So if ever you have cinnamon buns and you don't know what to do with it, French toast works. Actually, so does croissant. I've done it with croissant. It's amazing. So, it's left over. It was gonna go bad, or I was gonna throw it out. And now I had like a most amazing breakfast. Why not? I have notes because obviously this is my first stream. I knew I was going to be alone. So I talked about that and that. Yeah, so I think I said that, but because this is the second time I do this today, because I didn't have the chat on my first time, I think that I know I said her name. So José Distasio is a French Canadian Quebecer. And she had a cooking show called Alain Distasio. And it's through her that I learned the most. It's through her that I was impassioned by food as an artist myself. And I'm always looking for light. To me, I'm always looking how light hits something, how it reflects, sometimes it drinks the light, right? And in her program, in her show, they had a way of putting the food in a light that everything was sort of shiny and beautiful. And you wanted to sort of, just look into it and lose yourself in the food. And so every weekend, my kids and I, it was at 5 p.m. on Sundays, we would sit there with a snack, a snack, fit for José Distasio. And we'd eat there, and it was quiet. And we'd just watch what she was doing. And then, and so next week we'd try that food. At some point during the week, we'd get the ingredients and we'd make food, for whoever. So we'd have to cook for 14 people because we're always a lot of people because we're doing that on Wednesday. So come over and then we'd get together with my nieces and nephews and kids, and we'd make a José Distasio meal. And for the longest time, I still do that. When something is simmering in a pot, or I come up with a salad, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but in the pot, when like the light hits it just so, and the color, I'm like, oh, I would say, we're having a Distasio moment. Come, guys. And I would take a picture. And so we'd all look for those moments where the food was just so beautiful, you knew it was going to be delicious. And this would happen like anytime, whatever time, even if I was just making a simple meal, like just throwing it together, there was a moment where it came together, or on the plate or off the plate, where, you stir it and something just comes out, or the steam, the smell, and you realize it's beautiful. And we would call it a Distasio moment, where the colors, it was like just art. It was food art, but not on a canvas. And it stayed with me. So I love making food beautiful. Sometimes it doesn't happen. I've had scary times where I put Dover sole, cauliflower, and rice. Everything was white, and my plate was sort of whitish. I was so upset with myself. I didn't want to serve the meal. And we're like maybe 13, 14 for supper because my dad was there, and other people. And then I was like, this does not look appetizing. How did I not think of this? This is like jail food. It looks horrible. It tasted delicious. And everyone laughed at me. They're like, who cares? I'm like, I care. I can't serve something that looks bland. Thank God I had parsley, but didn't save the look, but it did taste fine. So yeah, I like to create beautiful plates, even when I'm alone and I make my own supper. I put it just so, you need angles. And I remember it's the rule of three. My daughter went to a cooking school. And she says it's three or five, one, three or five. It's never two or four. And she's right. She's right. It's three or five. Two looks a bit weird. Just I don't know. It's true. You need some imbalance to make it perfect, because it's never in the perfection. It's always in the imperfections that you find perfections. I used to say that to my kids. Actually, I said that to them all the time. Because you see a dead tree in the forest, and it's beautiful because I don't know where I'm off topic now, but you need everything to make it beautiful. So, anyways, for some reason or other, I just went off topic. So sorry. Well, not really. Nothing to be sorry about. Just a Canadian thing. Um, I think I've gone through everything I wanted to for today, except that I want to tell you that I am on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube now. So you can text me there. Please follow me. Please subscribe. YouTube wants us to have conversations. The more you subscribe, the more you talk to me, the more they'll put me forward, the more it's like the more. So it's like a snowball, right? Going down to the valley, going down the slope, right? So just chat with me and ask me what recipe you'd like to see on an ad-free blog. So where you can just go and have it, where you don't have to fight with pop-ups and ads while you're trying to follow a recipe. And then you turn around, there's a pop-up and you can't find the recipe. So you scroll up and then there's a blank. And then you wait 3 minutes and something comes up. And then you're like, no, I'm in the wrong place. So you scroll down and then it's blank again. Anyways, I love my cooking books. I just still love my cookbooks now because, yeah, I'm done. I'm pretty much done. So ask me whatever you like, whatever you'd love to see. My daughter wants me to make a sloppy Joe recipe because she says she can't, whenever she finds something she might like, it's just too hard to just follow the recipe. And so here you go. She gave me something else to do. I have so many recipes on my own website, but I'm always looking for a challenge. I love challenges. I really do. So you say, look, I'd love to see a beautiful Dover sole recipe, you know, and I'll find it for you and it'll be on the website and you won't get the ads. I will be asking for support, because I do everything myself. I do all the research. I do the writing. I do the picture. I do the SEO, the meta, and then, all the media that follows when I put on the recipes on the website. So just find a way to find a way. Well, find me on my other platforms. Please follow me, and I hope we have awesome lives. I hope we chat. I hope we get to talk. I hope I get to know you, and have a little community of people that want to feed their own crowd without being harassed, like in a calm way, where you just go on a website and you delve into the recipe and feel good about it. So thank you so much for following me. I'm going to be back here again next week at 2, and hope to see you there. Thank you.